Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from Breitbart, and one of my favorite authors, as I said in yesterday's video. This is from November 11th by John Nolte, and he says, fake media now blame right-wing plot for BBC scandal fallout. So let's not take any responsibility for the thing that we did on our own. Let's blame other people for it. That's kind of the name of the game here. So it says, in today's episode of You Can Never Hate the Media Enough, I give you the corporate media's latest disinformation campaign to blame a right-wing plot for the recent scandal or fallout at the far-left BBC. As we all know now, it says just days before last year's presidential election, the disgraced BBC ran a program that maliciously edited President Trump to make it look as though he declaratively called for people to riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, 2021. And now that I said the magic words there, I'm probably going to have a little wiki note on this video. It says the truth, as we all know, is the exact opposite. He called for his supporters to peacefully march on the Capitol. It says what the BBC did was take two statements from Trump's speech that day, two unrelated statements made 50 minutes apart. It was actually a little more than 50 minutes, but still, that's fine. It says maliciously spliced them together to spread their lie about him calling for violence. Almost a year later, nothing was done about this edit until a damning memo leaked exposing the BBC's cover-ups and denials. Rather than do the right thing and retract their lie, the big shots at the BBC hope to ride it out. Yeah, it's always the way to go when you say do something to like the president of the most powerful country in the world and supposedly one of your top allies. Like it's just like, yeah, let's just make sure nothing happens about that, right? Let's just sit on this one. It says, well, on Sunday, and again, this wasn't as I said in yesterday's video, this past Sunday from the time this video is coming out, it was the Sunday before. It says Director General Tim Davie and CEO of News Deborah Turnus resigned from the publicly funded BBC. It says now, in a sane world, the corporate media would be thrilled with this result. After all, the BBC tried to rig a presidential election with an outright fabrication, and the subsequent resignations prove the corporate media have high standards and that this sort of thing will not be allowed, right? It says, well, we do not live in a world where the corporate media are sane, and we have not lived in that world for decades, if ever. So, says, instead of pretending the BBC scandal as healthy in accountability or just leaving it alone and moving on, the usual degenerates in the corporate media see it like they see everything nowadays, as a partisan political battle, so they refuse to suffer the loss like media professionals and are instead responding like the leftist hacks they all are. So, yeah, these resignations aren't about accountability at the BBC. Oh no, it was Russian collusion. I mean, Hunter's laptop was fake. I mean, the border is secure. I mean, Joe Biden is as sharp as a tack. I mean, it was a right-wing coup against the BBC. So let's get a load of this. That's Brian Stelter's embedded tweets here. And I said yesterday in yesterday's video, if you don't know who Brian Stelter is, he's not someone you should listen to at all. He's a propagandist of the highest possible order. Everything right-wing or Republican to him is bad. Everything left-wing and Democratic is good. Doesn't matter if it is or not. He's one of the most partisan human beings there is. And as I'm saying this, you can see Brian Stelter's tweets here from, at the time you're going to hear this video, been probably 2 weeks ago. Or what is today, that time I'm recording? About 2 weeks ago. So he's just kind of pushing off the blame. And, more Brian Stelter embedded tweets. So, feeling the Trump squeeze. Yeah, okay, sure. And then it says, and this from a communications professor at the University of Westminster. And he's saying basically, it's they're assaulting the BBC for something that they very clearly did. And says, and this from a BBC presenter. He's basically saying the same thing. It's everybody else's fault. It says, and this from another BBC presenter who makes £400,000 a year from the taxpayers to fund the BBC. By the way, if you don't know how much that is, that's probably somewhere in the area of $250,000 a year, probably a little more than that, actually. My calculations may be a bit off, but it's a lot of money, okay? It says, BBC star Nick Robinson today launched into an extraordinary monologue on the Today program that appeared to play down the impartiality scandal that has brought down the Director General. Mr. Robinson had launched into a monologue on the scandal just after the 6:30 a.m. news bulletin today, where he said the BBC's board is in a state of paralysis and appeared to suggest conspiracy and politics at the top of the corporation were at play. And in what some listeners suggested was him playing down the impartiality row, he said, I understand that at the time of the transmission of the Panorama film in 2024, there were no complaints about the editing of Donald Trump's speech. So it's just, it's we got caught. It's not we did something wrong. It's like we got caught. So it says, you got to love how people currently employed at the BBC claim there's a coup while still employed by the BBC. Allow me to close by saying I don't mean to sound defensive. believe this. I would love to see a right-wing coup with the BBC. I would love to see conservatives move in and fire all of those leftist liars and propagandists. When it comes to most everything, I am decidedly pro-right-wing coup, so this is not that. This is just another look at how truly hateful and hopeless the regime media are. Trump has led the charge to hold the corporate media accountable, and there is nothing elite liars hate more than accountability, sunlight, exposure, truth, and ridicule. Additionally, Trump has threatened to sue the BBC for £1 billion if he's not satisfied with a full retraction and apology by Friday. Let's hope he's not satisfied, and the suit goes forth, and the result is an actual right-wing coup. And I'm just thinking right now, I wonder if I got the dollar amount that the guys presented as wrong. I think I might have done it the wrong way. Anyway, if I'm wrong, and by all means correct me. It's still a lot of money the guy makes, one way or the other. But yeah, so I wanted to give a John Nolte perspective on this. Tomorrow is going to be probably the final video about the BBC, at least the same scandal, but it's going to be from Ben Shapiro, which I think is someone very noteworthy in the sphere, as well as in terms of this particular scandal. Someone's been lied about quite a bit, but yeah, so there you go. More BBC stuff, and it's all let's blame the right-wingers instead of actually taking responsibility for our own actions. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.